You said we were at the church, yeah?
You are at the church. Do you enter?
Yeah. Is there police
You've just
tape
been
across the parking lot?
Yes, but it does not appear to be actively patrolled.
I know how quickly that can change. So I will just park on the street next to the park.
You all have been parked next to the church, same parking spot as last time. You've just been talking for the last 5-10 minutes.
We put up the police tape, detective. We'll be fine.
Right.
I tap the permit on the back of my car. You said it was a handicap sticker, right?
Yes. A
Okay.
handicap sticker and a press badge for
Yep.
your 2 dots in certification. With that, you duck under the tape and head up to the door. You open it to see a bustle of activity, engineers about. The smell is a faint, lingering background, but no longer permeates the room.
Is the crack still there?
It is that thin, glowing line. In the center of the room, positioned between you and the crack, is a large device. This thing looks like a large bomb. Very high-tech one, but it's a bomb.
Okay. They mentioned something about forcibly sealing the crack here, right?
Yes.
But
Uh,
nobody else in here.
no, there's a bunch of engineers here that are
Okay.
working on it. They've got it in the framework. Tabitha's shouting directions as you're coming in. Subjects 1 through 3 are approaching. Load the core. Yes, ma'am. One of the engineers up near the top of the bomb lifts up a tube with a handle on one end, and the rest of it's just like a 4-foot long, 1-foot thick piece of chalk.
But it's glowing some fucky color.
Nope, it is just white stone as it is shoved into the device and twisted.
Oh, why does that make it feel worse?
Let's see what the fuck's going on.
Everybody stand back, retreat to phase 2. As a bunch of the engineers file back out past you.
My protect the kid
Uh,
senses are kicking in. I'm grabbing all.
I'm following the line of people walking out. I'm not walking towards a bomb. I'm gonna say
You
that to her
three.
too. Be like, nah, hell nah. Walking towards a bomb, silly. We can talk in the parking lot.
You approach to position Alpha. She will point at a big yellow dotted line about halfway down the aisle, about halfway between the exit and the portal.
I'll point at my junk and say, approach position Delta.
Did you read the report?
No, I wasn't handed anything.
Betsy, can you explain to them what happened last time this was interrupted? Approach to position Alpha.
I move them first. I grab them by the wrists and move them first. And explain whatever the mundane explanation was for the effects of Reed College, like whatever they say in the news, and say that was caused by this being interrupted.
The reactor explosion.
Ollie, does that sound real to you? That sounds like
Yeah.
bullshit.
That's when the kid broke in and started beating the machinery. This was the machinery being used.
Tracks.
We need to leave. I suppose
I'm gonna-
somebody should have told us. Caldwell yells over the whirring of any machinery going on.
Oh yeah, there's totally a bunch. The portal's sparking wildly. There's a whirring as the bomb is lowered towards the crack.
I'm gonna trust Ollie on this one. He's the smartest person here I know.
It's a time bomb, like we dropped at Reed.
It means nothing to me.
It'll stop the spread.
Okay.
Betsy's tugging at your arm trying to get you out of here.
Get out.
Oliver's the only important one, I think.
Then I'll let go of the detective. I'm just trying to move Oliver away from the rift.
No, towards the rift.
Towards the rift? Oh.
No, absolutely not.
About halfway from the door you're standing at to the rift is the line she's pointing at.
Then I will approach the rift and say, Oliver, if you're in the thick of it is walking towards this portal so we can save reality.
All right, Betsy. I trust you. And I'll walk towards position Alpha.
This thing is gonna blow in 13 seconds.
I will sprint towards position Alpha.
If Ollie's going, I will follow him. This little fucker better be right.
As you sprint towards it, the machinery on either side of the portal sparks to life as the portal starts to widen at your approach. It is pulled open, wrenched, and held there for a second or two as Tabitha slams a big red button that releases the back end of this bomb, letting it swing forward on its own momentum into the portal. And she sprints over to a giant fuck off lever. She waits for the thing to just clear it and then slams the lever down. With that, the power cuts to the machinery off to the sides. There's some sparking, smoking, and the smell of ozone as the portal snaps back to a thin golden line. And one. She looks at wrist. We're not dead. I'll have to get the right readings from the rest of the engineers. Thank you for your participation.
Yeah,
No. No,
Name
no,
anything else?
no. What the fuck?
There's an interdimensional rift here that this one, Ollie, seems to be keyed to. If you approach, it weakens the barrier. You get close enough, it will force it open. You get within a certain radius, then we're able to force it open the rest of the way, enough to insert the time bomb.
Hot Dog God would like to make a statement to Ollie, if that is okay.
Yes.
Do not trust Tabitha. Any version of her. Question all Tabithas. And that will be my message.
What are you? I'll say to Tabitha.
She, panting a little bit from the exertion and with a smug look on her face, says, an optimist.
I have a feeling that this is going to be a consistent pain in my ass. And not the good kind, like the kind I'm currently suffering, but the bad kind, like when you eat Taco Bell for a week straight.
The entity in your report, Agent Caldwell, the one who looked like me, was an EDE.
Certainly.
It was attempting to breach the veil, the gauntlet, the dimensional barrier, whatever one would want to call it. They were attempting to breach it for as yet unknown reasons. Have
Reactor
located.
wasn't of one of the conventions?
Oh, the reactor?
Yes.
It was not our doing, at least not anything on the books. Not the Void Engineers, although I do suspect Iteration X might have a hand in it, as Rowena Abubakar was one of theirs. You have given me sufficient information for the moment. I would still like to know why they were there. Why the EDE and Dr. Abubakar were attempting to pierce the barrier.
I don't know what I could find out that your scientists couldn't at the reactor. I'm not sure, besides looking through her paperwork, where I could look to figure that out. I don't know where to track a herd of magical spiders.
I was going to ask you about that. You said that she turned into not just one spider, but many?
According to the avian, yes.
That is interesting.
Would you like to interview him? I know where he is likely to be. I probably put that in my report. That he lives here.
Do you know what happens when you bring a gun to an interview? You escalate the situation. I am a weapon, Agent Caldwell, and few who look upon me would deny that. It is better for those of you who are skilled at rooting out the truth and for both constructing guises and piercing them. It is best for those who are good at those things to do those things. Until you can build me a machine that will rip open the fabric of space-time, I'll do my job.
I understand.
Do you think that you could find out. Or should I put this to someone else?
I will do my best.
That was not my question, Agent Caldwell.
You do not need to assign someone else. I will make it happen.
Thank you. Report to Quartermaster for additional equipment.
Understood.
Anything else you'd rather not say in front of the crowd? She says, as you four are the only ones standing in the church at this point. Everybody else has retreated back out into the vestibule, if not the parking lot, if not the next county.
Why Ollie and the two of us?
You remind me of someone, and apparently the universe agrees. What do you think an ant thinks of us, John?
Can't. I suppose they don't. Unless they're being stepped on or set on fire.
Now, imagine that you tried to explain to an ant the concept of taxes, and imagine for a moment that the ant understood. How could
Not
it
a
go
ca-
back to being an ant? Not just the concept of taxes, the entire tax system.
Well, are you teaching him taxes or are you teaching him property taxes? Because those are two different things.
In either case, there are answers to your questions that I do not think you're prepared for. The world is, at the same time, far stranger and far more mundane than you could ever imagine.
Who do
In
we
good
remind
day.
you of?
You remind me of some folks that went spelunking down the pit of infinity.
Is that a euphemism? John will squint at Ollie, thinking that the college kid will definitely know this better than he will.
If it is, it's not what I've heard.
The pit of infinity is a poetic name. They simply call it the pit where it's from. And thanks to them, it is from everywhere.
I don't think I would ever go in a place called the pit unless it's a bar.
Do you believe in reincarnation, John?
I suppose there's a chance to believe in anything, right? I wouldn't call myself a believer in much, but after the shit I've seen, I'm guessing there could be anything at this point. So sure, reincarnation, absolutely.
What if I told you that in a previous life, you were a very angry house cat that could turn into a very angry little person?
I would ask you how you got that information.
And I would be unable to give you a satisfactory answer. They never emerged from that pit. It consumed them. I think that you react to this portal because of that fact.
Because I'm a
Past
little
lives.
raccoon man.
Because in your past life, you were a little raccoon man. Yes. And that raccoon man would know how that bomb worked. You, I believe, still have a ways to go.
But he was there. Did you just nuke my little homie?
Only with time.
You do know his name, I told you.
Rules? Oh yeah, because I know everybody else's name, so I know his by deductive reasoning. Haha. I have a feeling that would be his least favorite thing to get nuked with. He'd be like, I don't even believe this exists. And now it's just fucking everywhere? Gross.
What do you think that core was made of?
My little buddy.
What else would power a time bomb? You need time to explode.
I have some of that chalky material. I would love to mix it into this no-no juice.
It is not available to those outside of my convention.
Yeah, and I'd probably have to go through a whole processing for that. No, thank you.
Not every convention requires processing. If any of you would like to out where you went, the bottom of that mystery is probably out in the other worlds, out in space.
Ma'am, space.
I prefer interdimensional travel personally.
John has a look on his face that is a mixture of incredulous, confused, desperately angry, and slightly constipated.
This is why we usually process them at least a little, Betsy.
I agree. This one was making a joke about using rat skulls as a pestle earlier.
I didn't do it.
Yes, but everything else you said are up to it led me to believe it was true.
That is fair, actually.
Can I see how much truth Tabitha is telling with what she's telling?
She stumbled over something back there. She does seem to think that you are past reincarnations. She doesn't seem to be lying about any of that.
Mhm.
She was lying when she said that the stone was exclusive to her convention. From the way she said it, the way she hesitated, that's exclusive to her.
Interesting. I will make a note to tell Ollie that after this. That's not a conversation Betsy
Yeah.
will be around for.
Understood.
If you need a construct to at least get them the basics, I'm sure I could arrange a VE boot camp. It would get this one into shape, but I'm sure you could take it. Probably add a few years to your life.
Ma'am, you'd be surprised.
She'll shrug.
How long do I think that would take?
Probably 6 months at the
Nice.
minimum.
I would
Remember, John
definitely
is autistic. This is going to be a very hard sell for him. Does not like change. Been alive 60 plus years. This does not make sense.
They're offering to teach you this making sense, detective, including a health workup. If you'd be interested, I would certainly refer you, but I can't imagine you want to go. Light and science can do wonders for the body and mind.
I don't think I'm gonna put myself through that.
Betsy shrugs. I don't suppose you have some theory on who you think I was.
Process of elimination. If that one was an angry cat and that one was the raccoon man, then you, I believe, were an angsty dwarf.
An angsty dwarf? Like working at a circus?
I would say no, but
Incredibly accurate.
that is also accurate. A metaphorical circus.
Yeah. That little raccoon man seemed like he had mischief in his eyes.
They were not seen after the bottom.
I mean, that's what's on the other side of that portal?
I think the portal leads to whatever remains of them. If I were you, I would be very careful about your verticality should you ever find yourself in that zone. I don't know how best to explain it, but should you ascend more than, say, 10 feet or so, awful things will happen. If it leads to the place that you suspect it does. If not, you're fine. And it's just a pocket outside of reality.
Noted.
And if that's the case, we don't want the unreality spreading. I rather like this place to remain real. Or as real as things get, she mumbles. Now, if that's all,
I have all the information I need.
then see if you can get me that information, Agent Caldwell. Expect additional equipment. Basically, Tabitha is saying that because you have taken on this new job, she's rewarding you with extra equipment for the mission.
Okay, hell yeah.
Do we still have the motel?
This is an extension to your mission, so they
Okay.
have not been taken back.
Magnificent.
Then what about a van? Do we think a van would be helpful?
Let's leave Captain Bulsara to her business and discuss this in the car.
Indeed.
I've got a
But,
computer program to help us with the requisitions.
Wahaha. Yes.
John is just going to spend his time just blasting Ollie with all sorts of different metaphysical questions that aren't even really questions. They're just nonsense, but they're all buzzwords John's heard in sci-fi shows. I'd definitely say spies and library, as far as John is concerned.
Spies and library are both. I have some spies in the local nightlife, though I don't know how useful they'll be if we're not actively chasing the vampire threat. Oh boy. I guess I'll warn Tabitha. Can I have warned Tabitha about something that I don't know if I emphasized in the report? There's a lot of vampires in this town, and it appears we know nothing about. I guess those are from this reality, so that's not void engineers, but we should really get some hit mechs on that. Or at least capture teams. We don't know anything. And I know where some are.
Put in a request to the supervisor to go hunt them down.
I guess that is the proper procedure here, huh? Next time I talk to Agent Gray, a gun would be useful. If we're going after people who can dissolve into spiders, Betsy would like to make use of her dot in firearms. She's getting something.
Yeah, you have encountered more than one reality pervert.
Real proud of that one. Thank you.
I don't think I can afford a laser gun, but I bet I can get a cool pistol.
Does this place have healthcare? John would like some glasses.
We will just fix your eyes, good sir. Will that even cost us out of these points?
No.
We'll fix your eyes today.
LASIK? Yeah, my insurance would never pay for it.
It's very new at this point, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to. I would really like to emphasize we'll just improve your eyesight and make it 20/20. But with our ability to use lasers now, we could etch writing onto your irises. We're good at it.
You're not gonna do some MK Ultra shit on me, Betsy, are ya?
That's my offer that you've declined. Less than MK Ultra is what Tabitha offered, but I imagine you'd rather not to be conditioned at all, detective.
To be fair, the reincarnation bit sounds interesting, but I've got more important things going on right now.
I wouldn't say all of that conversation falls into purely mutual conversation topics, but yes, I agree with you. I'll buy a gun Monday.
With that last mission in place, figure out the why. We will leave it for next time.
What?
Yeah. GG, everybody.
GG, everybody.
GG, everybody. Good game, everybody.
Good game.
See you next week.
See you next week.
See you next week. Love you.
Bye.
Well, to everybody listening at home, I love you too.